Hello!
Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I made a doll-sized t-shirt. About which doll type I am sewing for, it is a Monster High doll. So I take my piece of paper, and then I fold it in half. And then I take my doll, and I place it on the fold of the paper. Using my pencil, I begin sketching half of a square. Here I go over the lines with my gel pen, and then using my gel pen again, I add a little bit of the seam allowance. Make a few adjustments if needed, and then cut out your pattern. And then open up. And now we have the base pattern of the shirt. To make the sleeve pattern, I place the doll on the paper again, and then I sketch around the doll of what the sleeve should look like. And then remove the doll, and then sketch the whole thing, and adjust it just as before. There we go, and now all we gotta do is cut it out. And now we have our patterns for our shirt. I'd rather label my patterns to know which is which, like this. For fabric, you're going to need t-shirt material. Now I am going to use a cut piece of an old black t-shirt. And now I have the fabric placed very flat. And now I'm going to take my base pattern and then place it on the material. And I use tape to hold it in place. Taking my fabric scissors. Now these are kid scissors. However, they're very sharp. I use them as mini fabric scissors, and I'm just cutting out the fabric. I'd rather remove the tape afterwards. You need 2 of the base pieces and 4 of the sleeve pieces. Take 2 of your sleeve pieces and then place them together like this. And then you have to take your needle, which is threaded in black, the same as the fabric, and then sew it in place. Be sure to lock the stitch before continuing. I always do the little double folded stitching. Here we go. Once I reach the end, I loop one of the stitches, I loop the hole, and then it ties a knot like this, and then I cut away the rest. Now we need to fold this side of the shirt sleeve like this, and then we take our needle again and then sew it to trim it. This is what the sleeve should look like, and now we just gotta repeat it for the second one. Take 2 of the base pieces and then place them together, and then cut a slight triangle out of both sides, only the upper part of the base pattern, and then sew the top. But I am not going to sew it all the way. I need to leave this portion open for the neck to go through. And then I just need to repeat it on the opposite direction, like this, and then open it up. And then take your 2 sleeve pieces and then place them on the 2 sides of the shirt, making sure the seams are facing up. Take your base piece and then one of your sleeve pieces, place the 2 together, making sure the seams are even, and then we sew them in place. Repeat on the opposite sleeve. Now I'm going to work on the neck. I'm going to cut a slight semi-oval around the front. Now I'm gonna cut out the back, but I'm not gonna cut out on the center. I'm gonna cut it at an off center. Cut out a thick strip that is the same length as the shirt base, and then fold it in half, place it on the short side of the base, and then take my needle and then sew it down. And then fold down the neck, making sure the fold is facing out, and then take my needle and then sew it around. And then we trim this back piece and then trim the bottom. Take Velcro, I'm using black for this project, and then eyeball to see how much you need, and then cut it out. And I'd rather cut out the edges than pull it apart. So on the Velcro, rough side should face out and fuzz side should face down. And now I fold the shirt, making sure the seams face out. And then I sew both sides together, starting with the seam going this way, and then back on the seam going the opposite way. Open up the shirt, and then flip it right side out, and then close the Velcro on the back, and there, your very own shirt. Part about doll making is that you get to make whatever you want. The reason why I'm making this video because I am setting up an Etsy shop. So if you want to check out my shirts like these, I'll put a link down below. I really hope you enjoy me making this doll size t-shirt. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye!